This is Then and Now, the show where we take old photos from the west coast of Sweden and attempt to recreate them to see what that place looks like today. And in today's episode, we're going to look at not one, not two, but three photos all taken in the Slottsskogen city park, right smack down in the center of the city. So welcome to this episode of Now and Then. What we're going to look at, as I said, three photos, and I would like to show those photos to you now so you know what to look forward to in this video. So starting with this photo from 1948, shot by Fredrik Bruno, showing the old Björngårdsvillan before it burnt down. We are also going to have a look at Smålandsstugan, which wasn't originally built here, but was moved here at some point. I don't remember the year for that, unfortunately. But it's been here for a while because this photo was taken over 100 years ago, most likely. We don't know exactly when it was taken, but probably somewhere between 1900 and 1920. And then finally, we're also going to have a look at another photo shot by Fredrik Bruno, also in 1948. This shows the entrance to Slottsskogen at Linnéplatsen, what it looked like back then, and there have been some changes, let me tell you. Although perhaps not that noticeable in the photos. But I suppose what you're really interested now is to see what we managed to achieve and what it actually looks like now at these three spots. So without further ado, let's get into the first photo. So I reckon this is pretty much it. There we have, I think, the tree that is quite small, actually. Well, not small, but it is much smaller in the original photo. Of course, there's a new building here because the old one burnt down. But apart from that, it's pretty much... Yeah, we're missing the path as well. So maybe I need to go closer. But basically, this is it. I will find the right composition and I will be back. Hopefully we have roughly the right composition. And there we have it, the first photo. As usual, we have the original photo on the left-hand side there, and then the one that we shot in 2021 on the right-hand side. And as you can see, there is not that much that has happened here, except for the building, of course, which burnt down, and the fact that we took the photos in different seasons, obviously. Now, if you are wondering about the camera that I used when I took this photo, this is a British-made Ensign Selfix, and I was hoping to find a camera that actually would have been around when the original photo was taken. The original photo was in 1948. This camera started being manufactured in 1950, but it's still very close, so I thought it would be alright to use that camera. Now let's move on to the next photo. So we're coming up on the second photo, which I also think is going to be quite straightforward, because there we have it, the building in the second photo. And I think the photo must have been taken roughly here, but I'm going to look around a little bit and see if I can find the best spot, or the spot that closely matches the place where the first photo was taken. So I think this is basically it, compared to this photo there. Yeah, this is probably it. We're going to make an attempt to take this photo, and of course the flagpole there and the bell tower are later additions. Okay, and now I'm taking the photo. Nope, I'm switching on the camera first. Now I'm taking the photo. And so again, on the left hand side we have the original photo that we're trying to recreate, and on the right hand side the photo that we shot in 2021. And as I mentioned when I was there actually doing the shooting, there's not much that has changed except for the flagpole, the bell tower, and I think maybe the fence has been rebuilt at some point as well. Now I don't have a camera from 1900, so instead we were using the Bronica medium format camera, which was actually, I believe, manufactured into the 2000s. So even though it is a film camera, it is a quite modern film camera there. So I didn't even try, but you know, it is what it is. You can't have you can't have cameras from all different decades. Now we're moving on to the last and final photo that we're trying to recreate here in this episode. So without further ado, let's move on to that. There were a couple of difficulties I had. First of all, it's way too dark, but besides that, if we have a look up there, what it looks like today, that's very different from what we had back in the days. We're missing several trees, but worse is this curve. The road is sort of curving, and also the buildings here that I saw in front of the old fortress, they don't exist anymore. They've been torn down and new buildings have been built. So this is a map from 1923, and I'm currently standing about there, I think. But back then the road curved here and it came in at an angle towards Linnéplatsen, and I don't think it does anymore, because if we look at it on the modern satellite image, it sort of curves briefly here, but then it's pretty much straight, and it comes out onto Linnéplatsen at a very different angle than it used to. So this photo has been interesting, but I still think that I'm roughly in the right place to reproduce this photo. But we'll see what happens. And you know the drill by now. On the left hand side we have the original shot in 1948, and then on the right hand side we have the photo that we shot now in 2021. And as I mentioned when I was on site, there are some differences here in I believe the curvature on the road, but in analysing these photos side by side like this, I do see that I wasn't actually quite in the right spot, because so I very rightly mentioned that this house here doesn't exist anymore. It's been replaced by this house that was extremely poorly pointed, this one. However, the house here does exist. It is in fact this one. And so by looking at how that building intersects the Skansen-Kronan redoubt on my photo, I can tell that I wasn't quite in the right spot. I should have moved a few steps further to the right, probably onto the road surface, but if I had done that, then the trees would have been in the way, so I wouldn't have been able to see the Skansen-Kronan redoubt anymore. So I still think this was the better option here. Now also one thing I didn't mention when I was there on site is of course that this building here has been demolished. That was the old guard building, I guess, by the entrance to Skansen-Kronan. There used to be gates at the entrance as well, so they're no longer there. But otherwise, there's no huge differences that you can immediately see. But I do think that the road has been changed, so that's something. But so there we have it. That photo, by the way, was also taken by the 1950s camera, so 2 years late, but still. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I certainly enjoyed going out there taking these photos and seeing what those spots look like today. We are going to do more episodes of this kind, more now and then episodes coming in the future. So I hope you will tune in for that. But for now, take care and hope to see you next time. Cheerio.